Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, NBC News, NBC Sports, CNBC News, and more. We're the number one talk here in the IE. Welcome to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa and the very special Wednesday series called Doctors in the House with yours truly and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
And this is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk, past or present, even no Diddy talk today, because you can get that everywhere else. But here we focus on solution, things that we can actually control, and things that will help us be happy 88% of the time. So if you've missed any of my past 1,232 podcast shows, but who's counting? Over the last 646 consecutive weeks, please do free subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch and listen. Everywhere else, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon, TV Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, you can hear it, but you cannot watch it. So that's why we are encouraging you to go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe, and that way you get to see the beautiful Dr. Tiffany Tate, my favorite Wednesday co-host, who is not just a veteran, not just a licensed OBGYN medical doctor, ergo doctors in the house. I'm a PhD doctor, which is just piled higher and deeper. She's an actual MD. And you can also find her all over children's books because she has a plethora of beautiful books to help parents educate their kids about things like bad touching, about money, about music, all kinds of things. Please welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffany Tate.
Always, always, always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And we're going to start off with breakfast, which is my good life habit, hashtag Blisscipline, for starting your day in the most positive way. So instead of doing this, which is MS, meaningless scrolling, we like to start our day thanking the universe for what's good around us, because the more we focus on things that are good, the more good things come and happen. That's the law of attraction, kind of like the law of gravity. It works whether you believe it or not. So I am grateful for plan B, C, D, E, and F, that every time anything doesn't go as planned, it's okay, because there's another way to get at that, whatever it is. I am grateful, like ergo example, those of you know, Friday the 13th, I had an accident. I never believed in that stuff until now. And it's been really cool. I'm grateful for LA buses. I went on my first bus yesterday ever in Los Angeles.
Wow.
I chose not to get rental car insurance. And those of you say, oh, you should have. But it's like, okay, I saved enough by not getting it that I could use that money. I have twice as much money to use it if I want to. I'm learning things about insurance. And until they figure out whose fault it is, I don't want to put out any money. So I got to take a bus yesterday for the first time. I'm grateful. Courteous driver, courteous people who left the bus said thank you to the driver. I was so impressed with all of my experience on that one yesterday.
That's very cute. Growing up in the city of Los Angeles, the city of angels, I grew up taking the bus. I've been taking the bus ever since I was in elementary school. So I'm happy that you got to take the bus for the first time as an adult, but I was taking the bus as a kid alone. So congratulations to you. Yes, taking
Thank you.
in Los
Yeah.
Angeles is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I am very thankful that my son's car is now on the way. He has been taking the bus in New Jersey. So I am thankful that they allow the students to take the bus for free. And he is happily taking the bus along from school to home to his apartment. And he's doing very well on the bus system in New Jersey since we are being thankful for rapid transport.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, this is exactly why we do the gratitude sandwiches. The people that I hear complaining about life usually are those who have a car, who have air conditioning, who have a bed, who have food in their fridge. And it's really interesting how um, spoiled and uh, what's the word? I don't want to be too negative. What
We
was
get complacent and we get really
um,
comfortable.
complacent and just not a addition to a positive world. How's that?
We take things for granted. We get so comfortable and we take things for granted until we lose our creature comforts. And growing up when we didn't have a car, and as a kid, I didn't really appreciate all those things because I didn't really know what it was to have those things.
Mhm.
I couldn't drive, and I didn't get my first car until I was in college when I bought it for myself, and I had a $2,000 hoopty, and I was very thankful for that $2,000 hoopty. I was like, "Praise God, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus," and and so you really appreciate the little small things. So that will be my next gratitude. I was very thankful when I did get my first car that I worked hard for my $2,000 hoopty.
Absolutely. My estimate is 7,400. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go into the big studio, and I'm gonna need to shut this off. Otherwise, you're gonna get.
Okay.
Oh, there's the echo.
Well, while she's I will continue my gratitudes. I am also thankful that my son is doing well in New Jersey so far, adjusted to Rutgers University. So I want to give a special shout out to the University of Rutgers for welcoming the West Coast family into the East Coast family.
Fantastic. Yes, and your family is one of the biggest I have ever met. And we have eyeballs in this studio. Thank you for joining the Cashew Gallery. Feel free to take a bite of our gratitude sandwich this morning as well. Put your chat in the chat. Put your gratitudes in the chat. And if you are driving, please don't. So I am grateful that there's plan B and C again with the technology. But isn't it great? Like if I can't get in one studio, I have other options of getting into the studio, and instead of being annoyed at it, it's like, wow, I'm so fortunate for COVID that allowed us to all discover we can do some things remotely. So there you go. Let's go to the bottom of the bun. Oh, go ahead. Did you have one more gratitude?
I am grateful that I had the opportunity to attend the Angels game last night. One of my sorority sisters took Mia and I to the Angels game, and we got to see them hit a home run against the Chicago White Sox. So congratulations to the Angels. Final score was Angels up 5, White Sox 0.
So I did that because I root for the Dodgers, but that's okay. It's all California. So there you go. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? What are you grateful for that's inside of yourself? I do this. It's weightlifting for our own edification, for our own self-soothing, self-care, self-love, which is the foundation of good mental health. So we have been talking about mental health thanks to my honorable moniker, Oprah. As the Asian Oprah, I want to continue that focus on how we take responsibility for our own happiness instead of, being entertained by Jerry Springer-like craziness, which is all in the reality shows of today. So I appreciate my ability to leave my own legacy. I think everybody is leaving a legacy of some kind, some more purposeful than not. My purpose in life is, first of all, to be happy 88% of the time. And as a result of that, bring that message to anybody who wants to be happy 88% of the time. Dr. Tiffany, what do you like about yourself?
I like my ability to assess a situation and know when to speak up and when to keep quiet. It's kind of like that Kenny Rogers song. You got to know when to hold them.
Know when to hold.
Know when to
Know
fold
when to hold him. Na, 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 na. I feel like singing today. Na, 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 na.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate my ability to sing. How's that? I love singing. I love karaoke. I love writing music. What do you like about yourself?
I love my
Say sing, because she can sing. This girl can sing.
Yes, I do love my ability to sing, and it's interesting because my organization that I'm involved in, I'm involved in probably too many organizations according to my family, but I disagree. I disagree. And so we took a foreign exchange student. Shout out to Jennifer Wren, who was visiting from Germany, who will probably watch this show. We took her to Disneyland. This was her first time going. And my ability to find a need and fill a need and bring joy to other people.
That sounds great. Hallo, wie geht's? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Ich habe 3 Jahre in die Schule Deutsch gelernt. So that's it. Just in case she is listening. One more. I appreciate my ability to speak more than one language. I think when you learn a language when you're young, an extra language, which was Mandarin, I know you thought I was Swedish, then it opens the door. I actually grew up in a the largest German settlement outside of Germany in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. Mm-hmm. So that's why ich kenne spreche Deutsch ein bisschen.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I like my ability to root for the home team. And so I do root for the Angels. I also root for the Dodgers. I also root for the Clippers. I also root for the Lakers because are California teams. So I always root for the home teams. It becomes, well, I get myself in a pickle when they play each other, but I root for the home team.
Fabulous. I'm just doing a little promo for us. That's why I'm working. I'm not talking to other people. Just in case you were wondering. I am so grateful that you all joined us for breakfast this morning, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. If you continue this good life habit, this hashtag Blisscipline for the next 28 consecutive days, I promise you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us. And now, drum roll, please. We have the topic of the day chosen by Dr. Tiffany Tate. What are we talking about today?
Well, sometimes you get stuck in a rut. So, are you stuck in a rut and feel it in your gut? You know, sometimes something just isn't right, but you continue to sit tight. Does your life feel strange and you're afraid of change? Time to fill that rut and find your stride and let your inner happiness be your guide. So let's just get to it, people.
Wow, that is pretty. That's. I just put in the promo. Let's get it started. Wow, I bet you just wrote that. for the topic.
Like, let's just get to it. Let's hit it.
Let's just get to it. I love it. I'm going to want you to read that again when we come back from break. But let's start. So, are you stuck in a rut? So, what are the symptoms? You know me. I like before the break to make it real. What are symptoms of knowing that you're stuck in a rut? So, I'm going to make a questionnaire right now on the spot. Okay. Are you not wanting to get out of bed?
Yep.
That's a symptom. Are you only making a trip to either go to the bathroom or the fridge to see what there is to eat? Are you...
Every day seems the same. Does every day seem the same?
Every day seems the same. You ask, what is the point of all of this anyways? You get irritated at everyone and everything, especially those people who are saying to you, what's wrong with you or what's wrong? And even if they're saying in the most caring way, you want to tell them to go fork themselves through a rolling donut.
Do you feel unmotivated?
Do you find yourself procrastinating a lot? I've always wanted to be a procrastinator, never got around to it.
Do you feel unfulfilled?
Do you feel sorry for yourself? Are you blaming everyone else for why you are where you are?
And do you want change or do you fear change?
Do you know what you need to do, but you just can't seem to get the motivation to do it? So if you nodded yes, I forgot to give you the instructions. If you agreed with those and went like this, that means you agree and you're probably in a rut. If you went like this, you're probably not in a rut. But I bet you that even if you were doing this, you know some people who are stuck in a rut. So I would like you to, as we take a quick break for news and weather, to share this stream to anyone that you know right now is just not being the best that they can be for whatever reason. They're stuck in that rut. Maybe they've even tried medication, prescription or otherwise, and it's not helping. And they need a place where they can talk about what happened and at the same time release what happened, because that's what we're doing on today's show today. Are you stuck in a rut? Well, Doctor's in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffany Tate
are here to help you get out of that rut. Don't go away. We'll be right back in 2 and 2, as Chuck Woolery says, except that it's peace in, peace out. Well, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back here to Did You Take My Advice? I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind, home to the Asian Oprah, and number one talk in the IE. Thanks to all of you. And today is in the house with myself and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
And we are talking about, are you stuck in a rut? More importantly, how do you get out of that rut? Dr. Tiffany Tate, I'm sure you have some research around ruttedness. So tell us what you have investigated.
Well, I found some interesting things there. The first thing I found was that you can do deer hunting is also known as rutting. Did you know that?
No, but I did have difficulty deciding whether rut was R-U-T or R-U-T-T. Now, is the deer stuff the double T?
Oh, it's
same T.
Yeah, same tea. So I was like, yeah, that was interesting. So I was like, okay, I'm not talking about that. Give me back to this. Not that, but this. Not that, but this. So that was very interesting. I had to skip a lot of stuff to get to what
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I don't want the deer hunting stuff. I want rut stuff. So I thought that made me chuckle.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to hunt deer. Leave Bambi alone.
I don't even want to know what that is on a deer. So keep going, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very interesting. And so it was like, okay, going deeper. That was a section that says, ask yourself these questions to help you. What parts of your life bring you joy? What makes you unhappy or stressed? Am I doing the things because I want to or because other people or I think I should? And then when it comes to your relationship, does my relationship provide me with meaning and fulfillment? Because people get stuck in ruts in their relationship as well. And
Mhm.
am I sticking with my job or my relationship or this project because I don't want to waste the time and effort I've invested? So sometimes you're just going through the motions because you feel you have to do it, but not because it brings you fulfillment. And so you're like in mud and you're spinning tires and you're
Mhm.
and deeper and deeper into the same spot. That's the analogy that I would use. But you're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, you're not moving side to side, and you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper, but you're not making any progress. So that was an evaluation. So it's like, okay, how do we assess this and how do we deal with this problem? So there's lots of different perspectives, but I wanted to just meditate on this and talk about this before we expound on.
Absolutely, because I like to do that. Is to, people say one of the reasons why my show's lasted as long as it has is because I'm relatable, because I live out loud. And speaking of which, I am not, and I'm sure Dr. Tiffany as well. We're not supposed to be happy all of the time. And I will say that if you are happy all of the time, you're dead, because you have to have the contrast of being in a rut every once in a while in order to know that you're not in a rut or that you are happy. So let's be really clear that we're not talking about walking around saying, I'm so happy, everything's great all the time, because that's just talking. And there's no person in the world who has not had some kind of something that will kind of send you into that negativity. That's normal. So if you're in a rut, don't beat yourself up when you're in a rut. Just recognize and ask yourself, is this a common thing for me? Am I in a rut more than 20% of the time? That's my measure. 80% of the time, if I'm in a rut more than 20, so 20 out of 80, so let's say in a week, if I'm in a rut more than a half a day every week, then I got some stuff going on that I may want to fix, because life is too short to be in a rut for more than 20 minutes, 20% of the time. I like even less than that because it feels better when I'm not in a rut. But let's balance out the expectation. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not always going to have a good day. But bad things happen to good people and bad people. And it's funny when people's we're like, oh, that's so horrible, are you okay, with the accident. I haven't had an accident in a while, and the expectation that I wouldn't have an accident, the expectation that I won't have parts of my body like hurt, the expectation that nothing bad ever happens to us, and that if you have a accident-free life, that somehow you are, that's normal. I think somebody gave us some too much Kool-Aid when we were growing up, because then we're not prepared for the things that do happen that are not so great. So yeah.
Basically, according to Psychology Today, 61% of people feel that they are stuck in a rut.
Ooh, that's a huge percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I love learning new, shocking things like that.
Yeah.
61%. When was the study done?
This study was done in June of 2023. So it's not uncommon for people to feel that they're in a rut. And I think that that's the problem. People feel isolated. People feel that it's only them, and it's not. And it's common for people to feel in a rut from time to time. And you have to distinguish between feeling in a rut and feeling depressed. And so you just have to understand the difference being isolated periodically and being there chronically. And being in a rut periodically is that you get there and you get out. And it's okay to get there and to get out and to get help. And we'll get there eventually. So I just wanted to let you know what the statistic was.
Now that could be COVID related. That was at the end of COVID, right? 2023, I think around the end of COVID. We don't even know when that actually is, to be honest. I think some people still think we're in COVID. Yeah.
We're still in the midst of people. We are
right. So, and then I want to also, for us recovering perfectionists, I'm not going to say you, but I definitely am me. I do this slide called perfectionism, procrastination, paralysis. That's also a rut. So if you're trying to be perfect and you don't want to be wrong, you procrastinate. And once you begin to procrastinate as a habit, you're in paralysis. You don't make any decision at all. That's also a rut. So I wanted to identify. So, okay. So now that we have identified that we are in a rut and that it is not just a, just don't feel good for a bit, that kind of a rut, but we're actually in a habit called a rut. What is the first thing, Dr. Tiffany, that we should do to slow down the ruttedness?
Yes. So how to break the negative thinking loop. Okay. So there are 8 steps to breaking the negative loop. The first is to recognize your thoughts. You can't break a negative process unless you recognize that you have it. So if you recognize your thoughts, you can challenge those thoughts, which is number 2, right? So if you identify it, you can fix it. You can't fix a problem unless you know a problem exists.
Right. So before we go to the next step, can we talk about some examples of those negative thoughts that might be running through your head that you maybe have not recognized? I'll start. Let's go ping pong. I don't deserve to have good things. Go ahead.
I am not worthy of love.
No matter how hard I try, nothing works out for me.
I will never accomplish my goals.
No one will ever love me as I am.
I am not pretty enough.
I will never be skinny enough again.
And I will never be the person I once was.
I will never look desirable like I did when I was modeling. So I might as well just hang it up.
And so,
yeah, I think we got it.
We can go on and on and on. And so when you have all these negative things in your mind, you can start to challenge all of the negative things that are in your mind, because the reality is that they're not true. You can always earn more. You can always be better. You can always go to the next step. And whatever is in your mind is just that. It's only a thought.
That
And
you keep thinking.
yes,
Yes.
thoughts
Yes.
can, thoughts can change.
Right. And sorry to interrupt again, but I want to point out that you are not alone. We didn't make those up. We felt those things in our lives. And if you watch the Olympics, okay, beyond Simone Biles, Caleb Kessler, every single person in the eye of, the name brands, people who are known, who are in the public eye, talk about how they don't feel good enough, or they don't feel that they will ever be able to blank blank blank. So this is a human condition. And I actually used to embarrass my children by doing volunteer work every single year. And I would ask kids, do you think you're good? Like, what are you good at? And do you think you're pretty? And somewhere between 8 and 10, even if they had a positive, healthy, loving home, they somehow pick up that critical, voice that we're talking about. That's the negative voice. That's the negative messages that, as Dr. Tiffany says, we have to arrest that or recognize that first and foremost before we can address them. So,
Yeah. And that's number 3. Be your own friend, meaning that you have to love on yourself. You have to recognize that you are enough. And I don't think that we show ourselves enough compassion. We don't show ourselves enough love. Now, I'm not saying be conceited. I'm just saying recognize that you don't need another individual to validate you. You need to validate yourself. And we don't validate ourselves. We look for it in likes. We look for it in social media. We really do look for it in other people. You don't need to look for it in your partner. You need to look for it in yourself.
yeah. And, that's why we do the gratitude sandwich, right?
Yes,
Every morning, because it forces you to stop criticizing yourself, especially before you go to bed. I forgot to say that's when you do the appreciation, so that you can fall asleep liking yourself instead of hating yourself. And again, the person in the cashew gallery last week, if you are saying that I am not good enough and everybody else can get this but me, that's kind of like pride in reverse. So you're still like, if you don't want to be prideful, don't be so special that you're the only one that's never going to be able to break this habit, because you can, a thought or the truth is just something you keep thinking. So if you keep thinking every single day that you're a piece of shiitake, guess what? All you're going to see is evidence that you're a piece of shiitake. That's the human mind. It's called the Pygmalion effect. You put on glasses that only see what you believe. That's why it's so important to shift what you believe about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't need someone to take you out. You can take yourself out. You don't need someone to buy you flowers. You can buy yourself flowers. Miley Cyrus has that song out. You can talk to yourself. You can take yourself out. You can do all these things for yourself. You can dance with yourself. You don't necessarily need someone else to do these things for you. Love yourself, treat yourself with respect, and then that will come to you, because people will be drawn to that and that light within you.
I love the fact that musical artists are addressing this. Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, India.Arie. I mean, the list goes on. I love that we're talking about what's real and how to take care of ourselves.
It's a necessity. Mm-hmm. Number 4, focus on positive people and aim to be one. And being positive and just being a light in the world it kind of helps to kind of break that negative loop. And we're not saying be a Pollyanna, I mean, be realistic to a certain extent, but try not to be so negative. Try not to see everything as being the glass half empty. The glass is still full, but you want to see things in a positive light.
Winnie the Pooh has a lot more friends than Eeyore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You also want to focus on the present and see what's happening now in your life. Try to look for what you can do. And if you're in a rut, see, okay, what can I change? If I'm not satisfied, what do I want out of life? Expound. Don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to reach for something different. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because that's okay.
I just want to give a practical tool, back 2 of those steps when we were talking about identifying and understanding and hearing those negative voices. Just like a diagnosis is not who you are. If you have an illness, that's not who you are. You're not the diagnosis. That negative thought, that critical voice is not who you really are. Who you really are is the one Dr. Tiffany was talking about, that coaches yourself and soothes yourself. That's who you really are. And I call that the balance-centered you. So if you haven't met the balance-centered you, today is the first day, September, what are we in? Whatever it is, sometime at the end of September, you are meeting your balance-centered self. And the voice that's criticizing, that's your critic. I name my critic just so I can quickly identify that that's a negative thought. And as soon as I identify, I say, thank you very much, Rose. My mother's name was Rose, is Rose. Rose, thank you very much for that offering of what you're saying negative about me, but that's not the truth. So I need you to sit down. Take a load off. I'm driving my life car. You enjoy the view. I'll let you front seat drive every once in a while, but you got to be tired. You've been yelling at me for your entire life. So that's a tool, an actual Happy 88 tool that I use with my coaching clients, that once you identify it, you got to do something with that criticism, and understanding that that criticism actually comes from a protective part of you. Right? The critic, the other good side of the critic is the protector. Otherwise, we would have burnt hands, touching stoves. We'd be dead, pancaked, running across the street. So we don't want to kill our critic, but we do want to just get them to relax. So there's a practical name your critic, so you can love her into the passenger seat.
Yeah. And you also want to bring, number 7 was bring the inside out. And so when you do, like she said, name the critic, but you also want to bring the inside out. So when you have that negative critic saying, you're not beautiful, you want to counteract it and say, I am that. And say, I am beautiful. You're not skinny. I am skinny, or I'm going to be skinny. If you know that you're going to work towards it, you're going to exercise it. Mom, growing up in the church, it said, name it and claim it. You're going to work toward it. If you know that that's something you want and you want to be that, and you're going to work toward it. So, you're going to eat right. You're going to exercise it. So you're going to exercise and you're going to work hard toward that goal. And a project that you're working on, you're a musician, you're an artist, you're going to work toward that goal, you're going to produce that album. Say, you're not going to be a musician, I am going to be a musician. So you just name it, you claim it, you work toward it. I'm going to complete that album. You can't complete that album. I'm going to complete that album. So name it, claim it, believe it, receive it, and speak it into existence, because we have power. So don't speak defeative defeatism. I made up a word. So don't speak words of defeat, speak words of victory. And so make it a proclamation as opposed to speaking words of defeat.
Great tool there too. If you heard that, it's like a counter statement. I am going to put the moose on the table. I can't find my moose, which is my Canadian version of talking about the elephant in the room, because some people say, yeah, but I can't lie to myself. Like, I'm not skinny. I'm not, smart. I can't be a rock star. I'm not going to lie to myself. And the the counter to that is you can coach yourself and be kind to yourself, saying things like, no, you're right. I'm probably not going to be as skinny as I was when I was modeling, but I have had an amazing life as a mom, and it is normal to gain a little weight when you have children. And I choose not to be in the gym 5 hours a day to work that off, or I choose not to spend $8,000 to $10,000 getting a tummy tuck in Mexico or wherever. Not Mexico. So I'm just going to be kind. I'm going to work a little off at a time, and 8 out of 10 times I'm going to make a healthy choice to eat, and 2 out of 10 times I'm not. And it's okay. You are okay. So for those who don't want to lie to themselves, there's still ways in the middle there, in the balance, to cajole yourself. I reward myself when I do something that I don't want to do. If I've lost 10 pounds, I go celebrate with a huge meal. Just kidding. So there's ways to cajole yourself that you're not lying, right? But you're acting on your own behalf. There's another tool. Are you saying things that are kind to yourself, that are true, right? Because all those things I just said are true. Dr. Tiffany.
Absolutely. I say speak it into existence, because as long as you encourage yourself, you should encourage yourself in whatever way you need to. If you want to cajole yourself, go for it. If you want to speak it into existence, do that. I think whatever works for you. And I think, if, like she said, give yourself a treat once a week, I think that's fine. But whatever you need to do to help yourself get out of the rut is it's the best thing.
Yeah.
And
before we go on, we're going to take a quick break for news and weather, and to thank the sponsor of today's show. We have a couple of them. We're going to come back. Dr. Tiffany is going to talk about her books, and I'm going to do an Asian Oprah giveaway. So don't go away. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Remember the dating game and Chuck Woolery, but we're doing peace in and peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel that houses all 1,232 podcast shows over the past 646. And I do have an Asian Oprah giveaway today. We have a pair of tickets to the musical, Dr. Tiffany, The Civility of Albert Cashier, courtesy of my Thursday co-host, James Hawthorne. It is a pair of tickets on Sunday, this coming Sunday. And it is a brave true story. So it's at the Colony Theater in Burbank, one of my new show sponsors. Thank you for that ticket. If you are interested in grabbing that Asian Oprah giveaway, please do contact me, either message me or go to drmarissa.life, where you will get to put in your email and I will take it from there. So that's your Asian Oprah giveaway. And then Dr. Tiffany, what's going on in the book factory of your head? Because you definitely have such wonderful creativity when it comes to both education and creativity. So I'm going to share where would you like me to go?
you can go to my webpage, www.drtiffanie, Tiffanie, Tate, Tate.com.
And what are you going to show us there?
On my page, you will see Little Engine Mia Sings and Bad Touching, and my soon-to-be-released Money Matters.
And those are 3 books that you can really help for. Is it under author for more of it?
It should be under books.
Okay.
And I'll just keep talking about it while you.
There's no books. It says author. Is that the one? Am I at a different site? This one doesn't seem to want to.
It doesn't want to leave.
Is this the one?
Yep, that's the page.
Okay. Because there's no books.
That's it. That's it. Money Matters.
Okay, that's why. It's under plays, by the way.
Okay, I'll have them figure it out. Awesome. And so Money Matters will be released on the 17th. You may pre-order it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. It teaches children about saving and investing. And Little Engine Mia Sings is also available as an audiobook. It teaches children about bullying and who to talk to if they get bullied. As well, you can pick up Bad Touching, and it teaches children about good touch and bad touch and where to go in case they encounter that. These books are available for pickup on Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. They are rhythmic stories that are easy to read by themselves, or they may be read with a parent or a guardian. I highly recommend them. They will not disappoint.
Fantastic. You're tuned into Doctors in the House with
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
And yours truly. And we're talking about, are you stuck in a rut? We qualified at the beginning of the show. If you missed that, this whole episode is available for your viewing and listening pleasure for free. Free subscribe on my YouTube TV channel, where you can also find my red carpet playlist with my interviews backstage with the Temptations, with Crystal Gale, Priscilla Presley, so many different people that you know and love, so you can get that there. We're going to finish up this episode with some more tips on how to get out of a rut, because we are on a happy 88 mission. 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. Want to make sure that you are feeling as good as possible, primarily because you'll be more fun to be around in case we are around you. And then also because it will help your immune system. That's the research that Dr. Tiffany, as a medical doctor, can support the findings for. So, Dr. Tiffany?
Make sure you talk about it if you are stuck in a rut. It's okay to talk to people, because a lot of times if you're stuck, sometimes you self-isolate and you don't want to get out. And if you talk about it, you will find out that you're not alone. As we said, about 60% of people are also stuck. And if you talk to people, they can talk about how they got unstuck and realize that it's normal. And feeling stuck is part of being human. And once you realize that you're just like other people, it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. I that's what I give credit to Oprah. She opened that box to allow us to talk about it openly, how we're not all that sometimes, and we don't feel all that sometimes. If you are from my culture, I'm Chinese, Japanese, and Chinese, have an aversion to talking about things that are not good or that are private. Please don't follow that part of the culture, because if you will suffer in silence, and that leads to MS University making shiitake up, something bad happens, you will make it worse if you don't allow it to be open as a wound. My analogy is it will get infected if you don't let air onto a wound to get treated or disinfected. So if you are from a culture that does not support you talking about it, there are many. We have a new number now for mental health that is a direct, like a 911. I think it's 988. I'll look it up. But if you are feeling like you can't talk to anyone around you because of cultural or whatever the situation is, there is an anonymous hotline now for people who want to deal with it, because what you don't deal with will deal with you, and you are only as sick as your secrets. I'll find that number. Dr. Tiffany, keep going.
988 is the number.
Is it? Thank you.
Remember that laughter is also good medicine. So get out, get around people that make you laugh and help you feel good, because you want to make sure that you're having fun. And once you find that you are in an environment that does help you get out of your rut, make you feel good, make you laugh, repeat that over and over again until you get out of that rut and you're in your happy place. Remember, repeat, laughter, repeat, laughter, repeat, laughter. It's a good cycle to repeat. Happiness, 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 happiness. Get you out of that rut.
Absolutely. What do I want to do right now that's fun? What do I want to do right now that's fun? What do I want to do? Even just repeating that, I repeat, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I repeat, I love my life, I love my life, I love my life. And the more I say it, the more I focus on things that are going well, and the more I feel like I really do love my life. I can talk myself out of a rut, and you can too. And that's what we're trying to do here is hopefully you've learned something. I've seen eyeballs this entire show. If you would humor me, literally, and if you have learned something, I'd love to know what that one thing is that you want to keep as a result of listening to us go on today. What is your keeper for today? I use that in my consulting work. So if you are not driving and not tuned into AM 1050 FM 106.5, but on my YouTube TV channel, LinkedIn, or Facebook, please do type in the chat. What is the one thing you're going to try to practice? That way, Dr. Tiffany and I know what is resonating with you as well.
Yes. So you want to make sure it's legal and you're not hurting people. You can keep repeating it. We're going to add a little qualifier.
Always the pragmatist. She's definitely the more pragmatic of the two of us.
Yes, we want to make sure we're always good.
You definitely don't want to do anything amoral and illegal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have we finished with the 10?
Absolutely. And we are in
good.
minutes. Absolutely.
Awesome. I did have a message come in. Someone who is in, like, they are waiting to confirm that they have cancer. And so for the last week, they've been in a rut because they don't know. And the waiting is not killing them. I shouldn't even say that. The waiting is very difficult. They feel like they can't really move on because they've had that possibility. They're running the tests. They didn't want to come and identify. Totally understandable. I have some coaching advice for them. I can go, or I'm sure you do as well.
Yes.
Do you want me to go first? Okay. So, and this is for anyone. I'm #ageless, but we all know that the older we get, the more things, symptoms or places or something isn't normal. And our first temptation is to use my assistant Google to go see what possible horrible things there could be that explain why I'm having this pain, or why this is looking brown, or this is a raised whatever on my body. Okay. Please try not to do that. Do something else instead. If you have that kind of time to go research something else. Where's the next place I want to go travel to? Where's the next hobby I want? What volunteer hour can I do once a week instead of Googling what is possibly wrong with me? So that's a choice. And we often don't give ourselves enough credit for the muscle called choice, or we are lazy in our focus, as Abraham Hicks will say, and we allow whatever's in our periphery, whatever's on the news, whatever's in social media to hijack our attention. And that is on you, boo. Can't blame the media. You're the one tuning in to wherever you're listening to. I'm preaching to the choir. Those of you who tuned in here, good for you. You know that when you come here, you're not going to hear that kind of stuff. You are going to hear solution. So you choose what to do. So for my friend who messaged me, you have 1 week before you find out what it is. Okay. You've gone to the secondary test. In that 1 week, you can choose to go for a walk every day, choose to get on a bike every day, choose to cook a new recipe with someone if you're not living alone, which she's not. You know, your kids love when you cook. So you can choose a new recipe to focus on. You can choose to read a new audiobook, nothing to do with cancer. You can choose to pick up a new fun hobby. There's so many things to do. There's so many places you can go. Escape rooms for something fun, miniature golf, bowling, creative. What is that? Color something mine. All those. There's so much in life that you can do instead of spending a week worrying about what it is that you actually have. There's always a solution. And you're a precious child of the universe. Everything happens to us for our divine good, even when bad things happen. That's the choice I choose to make. That's why when I have an accident, yeah, I'm pissed off for 16 seconds. Well, it was more than that because there was some extenuating circumstances, but that's okay. I got over it and I'm learning new things. And IJM, it's just money. And worst case scenario is the best case scenario. Death is not the final frontier. We're not even going there though. But for the situation I'm in right now with my mom and dad, 91 and 94, I'm good. I don't have to talk every day about how horrible it is, the after effects of this stroke. I choose to love them and remember them and see them now in the wholeness of who they are. Are we out of time?
Yep.
Final word. Actually, we have 1 more minute. I was told I could take a little more time than I have been. Go ahead. Final word.
So Google MD is not the answer, you see. So trust, wait, enjoy your day and pray and know that you still have time for your body to make a way. And I would just say that enjoy every day to the fullest. Your life is not over. And all cancers are not to the end of life. Don't let it take your life right now because you still have a life to live. Live it to the fullest. And I would say that to everyone, because while you're living, you should live your life. Don't live your life like it's over. All cancers are not unto death. And I say that as a physician. While you're still live.
It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Tomorrow, straight talk. Oh, tomorrow is me on the couch being treated for my BS, my belief systems that are keeping me from having a successful date. Friday, the Hollywood Rebel Report. Thanks for being here for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
Reminding you to have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.